Hey there, it's Gail Nowak with Sage Sensation Retreats and the Story Stylist. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I have been pulled to share a little bit and speak from the heart. I've been having some really interesting experiences and conversations, noticing some things. And I want to talk about normalizing speaking what we notice. I want to talk about normalizing checking in with others. I was having this conversation with my dear friend Rose, you beautiful goddess Rose. This magical conversation about really trusting your inner knowing and speaking what's true and following the guidance that you're receiving. We all receive guidance in different ways. It might be a sensation, it might be maybe something that you see or you hear in your external environment that makes you think of someone or something, or gives you an epiphany about something. And Rose was sharing with me how she is following her intuitive hits. And much like myself, I am following my intuitive hits. That's why I'm here talking about this. No script, no strategy. It's just something that I've been wanting to speak from my heart, something that I've been wanting to see more of in the world, is this normalizing of caring about people. And it really doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot. And what I've been seeing is how easy it is for some people and how difficult it is for other people. And getting really curious about that. Why is it so challenging to simply ask someone, how are you? Or to simply say, hey, I know you're going through a hard time. What do you need? What can I do to support you in this moment? Right? They're simple questions. And it lets the other person know you care. Sometimes it feels vulnerable, right? Sometimes this has been true for me, right? When we see people in their pain or we see people in their struggle, sometimes we don't really know, like, oh, is bringing attention to this going to actually make it harder for them, right? Or, geez, if I ask how they're doing, am I going to be able to hear it and sit with it and be with it? Or am I going to feel uncomfortable? Am I going to feel inadequate in my ability to support you? And I want to talk about being on both sides of that equation. I've certainly avoided asking people how they are because I didn't know how to be supportive to them. I didn't know how to sit with them in their pain or in their challenge or in their struggle. And yet I could feel that they were in their pain and in their challenge and in their struggle. And so I want to normalize even acknowledging that that someone is hurting, right? Acknowledging it to yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable to maybe speak it to that person or to draw attention to it. There are ways to be caring and supportive to others from an energetic perspective, right? You can let them know, I'm so grateful for you, right? Maybe you don't bring up the situation at all. It feels so good to see you. It feels so good to have you here, right? Just letting them know that you see them, that you acknowledge them, that you're enjoying their company, that you're enjoying your presence. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's more than enough. Sometimes that's the world, right? I think that sometimes we think that we have to go to such great lengths and such great sacrifice to show that we care about someone. And sometimes it is literally as simple as saying, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. We have become so afraid of our feelings. It's because we've been taught and we've been told to hide our vulnerability and not talk about difficult things, to brush things under the rug, those things that make us uncomfortable. We can't do that anymore. Not if we want to evolve and change and create from a place of love. And that is what New Earth leadership is all about, is creating from a place of love. And love doesn't always look like easy, fun, joyous. Love also looks like compassion, difficult conversations, and truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it hurts, even when that means letting go, even that when that means acknowledging, I know you're going through this tough time and I don't know exactly what to say other than I'm here and I love you and I care about you. For many of us who have been vulnerable, who have been hurt because of that sensitivity and that vulnerability, and I am the least likely to tear down those walls to my tender heart because they were built up pretty strongly. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to get hurt. And it prevented me from receiving that love and that care. And the journey from protecting my heart, being disconnected from my heart, being disconnected from my soul as a way to avoid getting hurt, to letting down my guard and being willing to get hurt has made a world of difference. It has opened up amazing experiences in my life. It definitely was not easy. And it was so worth it. It's been so worth it. It's been so worth it to be able to be present and slow down and speak up and feel. Allow yourself to actually feel in the moment. You can feel it privately. You can speak it if you need to, right? But let's normalize this. This is what it means to be human. We're not robots. I know AI is taking over, right? That's not us. We have a heart, we have a soul, and that means it has a purpose. We're supposed to use it. We're supposed to use it to support each other, to love each other, to break down our walls, to talk about difficult things, to let people know I see your pain, or to let them know I need help. So let's normalize this, speaking what we notice, checking in on each other, asking, is there anything I can do to support you? Following through when we get the nudge, hey, someone needs to hear from you. And just letting them know, hey, I got this nudge that I'm supposed to reach out to you. I've done this multiple times this year. I get it. It's kind of weird sometimes. And what I have noticed is that when I follow through with that nudge, whether or not it comes back and the person says, oh, I so appreciate that, right? Following that inner knowing and taking the step, right? And by the way, this is how you manifest. And this is like the very detailed nuance. The more that you do this, the more you will receive those nudges, those hits. The more you open up to the magic of what this world and this life actually is. And it's not about even getting a response from the other person. It's simply, I feel I need to reach out to you. I don't even know why. I've literally left messages with people saying, I had this, you came through in my meditation, so I'm reaching out. It does require intention and attention. It requires actually slowing down. It's not a box that you check off, like approaching it from the energy of, well, the polite thing to do is to address this thing that I know this person's going through, and I can check that box and be on my way. No, people are going to feel that. It's almost better to not do it. If you're not able to be present and slow down and listen and really hold space for someone, even if it's for 1 minute or for 20 minutes or an hour, don't check off the box. That's caring about how you're perceived by the other person. So if there's somebody that is in your life right now and you have a sense that there's something going on with them, and maybe they just need a little encouragement, reach out. Something as simple as, hey, you're in my awareness, you're in my thoughts today. I'm thinking about you. How are you? If you're thinking about somebody a lot and you're not reaching out to them, why? What is stopping you? What is stopping you? There's something within your vibration and their vibration that's calling you together. So maybe what's stopping you is fear. Hey, things didn't leave off that great with us. Well, what do you need to do to be okay with the fact that things maybe didn't leave off that great and still reach out to that person, right? What do you need to do to shift your own energy from that fear of being rejected or being yelled at or ignored or whatever it is, right? To just be willing to expand your capacity to be open and vulnerable and present. That is one of the most generous things we can do. It's one of the most beautiful gifts I have ever received. Something as simple as a text saying, I know you're going through a lot. Just checking in on you. It means the world. I don't know if you can hear my cat meowing in the background, but there's confirmation from the cat, right? Yeah, things happen for a reason. So the cat, if you love animals, how often are you expressing to your animal, I love you? How often are you pouring affection unapologetically into that pet? Let's normalize doing that with each other, with people, with our loved ones, right? And trusting that we have the discernment to know the levels of which to do that at, and respect people's boundaries and all of that. Some of the most powerful moments in my healing journey and in my spiritual journey are the moments where either myself or someone else was brave enough to speak what was being felt in the moment. It has opened up completely new possibilities. And this was not something that was easy for me to do. And I get that we're actually conditioned to do the opposite. And it takes practice. And it is totally possible. Okay, so I get that when you are sensitive like that, when you care very deeply, and that's not reflected back to you, in particular by the person that you're caring about, that can cut really deep. And what I've learned is do it anyway, without any expectation to receive it back from that person, because you know what? You receive it back from people you can't even imagine. Let go. Speak what's true. Be in the moment. Give generously of your caring. Let's normalize relating to each other in this way from a place of love. Caring is not transactional. Again, use your discernment. You don't pour into something that's toxic or toxic behavior. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying let's open up our hearts a little bit more. Let's care about each other a little bit more. Let's actually play with this idea of normalizing, literally asking, how are you? No, really, how are you? Because many of us are also trained to be like, we're fine, I'm fine, right? And let's normalize maybe challenging that knee-jerk automatic response. Are you fine? What's going on? Because I feel like there's something more. And obviously respecting people's boundaries about whether or not they want to share. One of the biggest healings that I've had this year completely broke open and transformed and had such powerful medicine with one question. What happened to you? What happened to you? Sometimes it takes courage to ask those questions because we don't necessarily have proof that something happened. It's a feeling that we have, and we're afraid of how the other person's going to respond. And it wasn't what happened from a judgmental place. It was what happened from a compassionate place, from a loving place. So yeah, it can be scary to put yourself out there like that. You never know what's on the other side of that. I have seen time and time again, transformation is on the other side of that. Healing is on the other side of that. Hiding what feels true for you. Number one, hiding it or trying to make it go away doesn't make it go away. So at some point, you're gonna have to face it. Number two, a quote out there, regret is worse than failure. Regret is worse than discomfort. Regret is worse than disappointing someone or hurting someone, not from a malicious place, but from a truthful place. Regret is worse than all of those things. So if you're holding on to family secrets or secret feelings or simply observing something but stopping yourself from going there, you're adding more coins into your bank of regret, right? And I don't know about you, I don't want regrets. It's the one thing that continues to help me do uncomfortable things, right? Sometimes I take a really long time. Sometimes I don't, right? And that's normal. It's okay if you need the time. You need to work yourself up to it, right? Or you need to do some healing around that. It's totally normal. Let's also normalize doing what we need to do to expand our capacity to be willing to be uncomfortable so that we live this life without regrets. Let's normalize listening to our heart, what is true in our heart. Let's normalize connecting with each other from an open heart, not from a checklist, not from, hey, I know I'm supposed to do this. This is what's socially acceptable. What feels true in your heart? I feel scared to reach out to this person. Okay, well, then go within. What is that about for you? Honor your feelings so that you can honor other people's feelings. I pulled a card from the Rumi Oracle deck. And also, like, if you feel called to do so, I invite you to share. Like, do you have experiences of this? Do you have experiences of thinking about somebody or wanting to check in on someone and you've stopped yourself? Do you have experiences where you followed that hunch and something beautiful happened? Or maybe nothing happened and you noticed, like maybe that was just for you. Maybe that experience was just for you. I had an experience earlier this year where it was like, Spirit was like, reach out to this person, reach out to this person, reach out to this person. And I was like, I don't want to, because I was protecting my heart, but I did it. And I realized in doing that it actually wasn't about what I was going to get from that other person. It was about me. And it was about trusting my guidance. And I learned something about myself in that. So sometimes it's about you. Sometimes it's about the other person. You don't know. And you'll never know if you don't follow through on how the universe is trying to communicate with you and communicate through you. So this whirling goddess, I love this message. Lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. You are being asked to dance rather than understand, to lay the thoughts to rest and to come alive. It is the bravest, most trusting soul that dares put the mind to one side and say, tonight we dance, my heart and I, in the great rousing music of the beloved's beating heart. and I will not miss one step. And to awaken the next day and do that all over again and again and again. You are ready. You see, sweet soul dancer. You are ready to live beyond what you know, to have it not matter if you don't understand how life can work itself out, or how it could be that someone so normal and ordinary as you and I could also be so magnificent, wild, and divine. Yeah, let's normalize that we are ordinary and magnificent and divine. That's where the music, oh, interesting. That's where the music is. That's where the magic is. That's where the mystery is. That's where the juice of life is. The need for answers and plans, assurances and explanations is passing out of your world now. That is passing out of our world now. New Earth is not about assurances. You are not to wait for permission, for explanation, or even for another dance partner. For I'm already inviting you onto the great dance floor. You are to let go of any stigma around not knowing. When someone asks you, what are you going to do next? Or how are you going to manage? You're given the divine mandate. With relish, reveal the truth. I don't know. Can we normalize? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm in the flow. I'm trusting. I have faith. I'm taking inspired action. I'm surrendering my worries and concerns to source. I don't know. And I know it'll be okay. There's also a sacred honoring ritual. If you have this deck, you know that these cards come with a little ritual at the end. I feel like this is for someone who's tuning in. This is resonating with you, and this is something that's a challenge for you. I want to invite you to put your hand on your heart. You might want to tap on your heart right in the middle of your chest. You can either tap, you can rub, maybe both. Maybe just put your hand there, right? Bring your attention to your heart and say out loud, I give my heart permission to lead this dance. I give my mind some time off. No more worry or doubt. No more planning or resisting. Instead, I surrender. Instead, I open. Instead, I allow. And all unfolds with perfection, divine timing, in the miracle of grace. With Rumi as my sole witness, so be it. So thank you. If you're still here, thank you for listening all the way through. I hope that something in there has inspired you, has supported you. If there's anything that I can do to support you, please reach out and send me an email, send me a direct message. If this is resonating with you, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'm wishing you a blissed day. Take care.